Hello, I'm Susan Cadeau. Thank you for being with us. In recent weeks, there have been several racial incidents on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. Incidents from white nationalist posters glued to walls from a group called Identity Europa to campaign flyers of a black candidate for president of the Student Government Association being ripped down and thrown away. Research into where the flyers and posters came from reveals a national political movement based on white nationalism.
Most recently, OU President David Boren faced off a pair of anti-Black Lives Matter protesters who had drawn a large crowd of students that did not want to hear their message.
We ignore you, we reject what you have to say, and we don't intend to listen to your kind of hatred anymore, anywhere in this country, and certainly not at the University of Oklahoma.
Posters like these were glued to the walls of some buildings on the OU campus. They come from an alt-right group called Identity Europa. Nathan Damago is their founder.
The core of the alt-right is centered on identity and race. The idea that race is real and that it matters.
The posters are part of what Identity Europa calls Project Siege, spreading their message to college campuses nationwide.
The purpose of Project Siege is that never again will our voice not be heard in these institutions.
The group believes universities have distorted white history.
We're going to show them what the teachers have omitted from their lectures and what has been omitted from their textbooks that is creating this false anti-white narrative.
Identity Europa leader Nathan Damago offers to come to any university and debate the issues along with any number of other alt-right leaders.
There are other people within the alt-right that you could also reach out to. Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, Peter Brimlow. There's lots of people who would do this.
Identity Europa already has a close association with Richard Spencer's National Policy Institute, which has become a leader of the white nationalist movement in America. Spencer even showed up at an Identity Europa rally on the campus of a California university, and members of Europa were in Washington, D.C. for the NPI's yearly convention held just days after the presidential election. That's where Richard Spencer really became familiar to the American people. NPI's list of speakers includes some of the same people Nathan Damago endorsed for college speaking tours. On the podium were Peter Brimlow, Kevin McDonald, Jason Georgiani, and Jared Taylor. The alt-right has largely been described as a loose-knit group of people with various ideologies. However, their organizations are actually very closely tied together. Peter Montgomery is senior fellow at People for the American Way. He says Richard Spencer has a youthful, slick appearance, but under that exterior is something very different.
He's a white nationalist who believes that, like some other white nationalists, that their ultimate goal would be sort of a white ethno-state.
Montgomery says until Donald Trump, white nationalists had not been very involved in politics, but that changed for this election.
They got so excited about Donald Trump that they actually paid for robocalls in a number of key states during the primaries.
And now Richard Spencer sees his group as taking charge of the American political system.
We willed Donald Trump into office. We made this dream our reality. And this Trumpian dream was only the beginning.
The alt-right uses the internet as its main tool for spreading its ideology. On YouTube, a Scottish national who calls himself Millennial Woes has produced scores of videos pushing believers toward better organization. He spoke last month to a group in Seattle.
I'm going to use the term alt-right, and I know that some people might not be comfortable with that, but it is a brand, and it is what we have, and it has been built up quite carefully, methodically, painstakingly over a long time. So I think it's useful to us, and I think we should keep it for now until, I don't know, can we start just calling ourselves white nationalists? I don't know if we can do that just yet.
Peter Montgomery agrees. It's time for the alt-right to call itself what it really is.
There's a lot of conversation right now among mainstream media about the use of the term alt-right and whether it's accurate, because that's in some ways what how the movement describes itself, but whether the term also masks the real agenda.
Millennial Woes believes the election of Donald Trump marks the beginning of the white nationalist movement's takeover of American politics.
I don't know whether Trump agrees with us on anything, but he is certainly far more amenable to our ideas than any other president in our lifetimes. But more important than that is what his presidency enables us to do. We have 4 extra years to reprogram the white race. And we need to transform our societies into what they should be, which is sustainers, incubators, nurseries of us, of our people.
A new Southern Poverty Law Center report 10 days after documents 867 incidents of harassment and intimidation following the November 8th presidential election. Incidents like this one in a Chicago craft store.
And I voted for Trump, so there. What, you want to kick me out because that? And look who won, and look who won, and look who won.
Where a Trump supporter went on a rant, claiming discrimination for having to buy a recyclable bag for her purchases.
Discriminated against by 2 black women. Yes, I was. And you being a white woman, you literally thinking that that's okay?
Other incidents involve spray-painted messages, often including swastikas and references to fascism. Hate and racist flyers at OU and other college campuses show where the white nationalist movement believes the territory is ripe for new recruits, using current believers who are well-dressed young men, all sporting the same haircut, to identify them as people who believe their time has come.